Hey there, multi-prep teachers. You know how professional development never seems to quite get to what we need? It's like, great idea, but how do I make this work when I have 3+ preps to juggle? That's exactly why I created the Simplify Your Preps Collective. It's a free Facebook group built just for teachers like you, where we share tips, resources, and real talk about making multi-prep teaching less overwhelming and more doable. Sound like your kind of space? Head to kristenmasick.com/collective and join us today. Let's simplify together. Think back to a time where you were prepared for an event prior to it happening, and what was the outcome of that event? It doesn't have to be that you were prepared for a lesson. It could be that maybe you were prepared for the holidays, and prior to the holidays, you had everything purchased and wrapped and under the tree a few days or further before the holiday. Or maybe it was a vacation that you attended and everything was just mapped out so that when you went on that trip, you could just relax and enjoy it. That is what you can also have when it comes to your school day. If you have everything ready to go, just think about how much better the day would be for you, your family, and your students. We're going to be talking today about maximizing your productivity during the school day so that you can be beneficial to you, your students, and also your loved ones. Welcome to the Secondary Teacher Podcast, the podcast for middle and high school teachers juggling multiple preps to get the strategies to reduce overwhelm so that you don't have to choose between being an effective teacher and prioritizing important relationships. I'm your host, Kristen Masick, a 10-year high school engineering teacher, former middle school assistant principal, and teacher coach. Every week, we will discuss strategies, systems, and time-saving tips to help you not only survive but thrive as a multiple prep teacher. For me personally, when I have prepared or when I'm not stressed out and worrying about something happening as far as like I'm crunched on time or I have to get something done before something else, I know that my stress will then go to anyone who is around me. It will transfer. If I'm stressed out and I'm at home, then my husband and my children will feel that. And they will send it back to me. I know it's a little bit woo-woo, but it also happens with students. When you're on edge, then they feel that and they send it back to you, which then is kind of like this spiral out of control. We're going to be talking about some productivity things that you can do during the school day to prevent that from happening, because when we're talking about those negative feelings kind of like transferring, your positive feelings can also transfer. I know there are times where I am relaxed and I'm able to enjoy the moment. I really do enjoy the moment, and it does make everybody else enjoy what's happening a lot more. We're going to be talking about first having an efficient classroom. Before we get started into all of the planning, one of the things that we struggle with the most is classroom management. And prior to even deciding what we're going to be doing for our classroom management plan, one thing that really helps set you up for success is to have an efficient classroom. Having a space where you can find things, where students can find things, where you have routines and procedures in place so that everyone knows what to do, when, if there's an assignment due, how you turn it in, how will they receive feedback. All of those things need to come beforehand. Going back and thinking about those routines and strategies, those systems that you need to already have set up prior to your students even entering the classroom. Now, if you are listening to this in real time, we're halfway through the school year, and you probably don't have time to revamp everything. But what I want you to think about is, what is one system or routine that you feel like if you were to create it, it would make the world of a difference and it would impact everything else? It could be that it is how students are turning things in. It could also be the cleanup routine, having a clean space. It could be how you are going to be giving out or receiving any new information or paperwork or things to your students, how they're going to collect that. Maybe it can be something that they do instead of you do. Think about what would be that one thing that would make your classroom more efficient. The next thing to maximize your productivity is to utilize your prep period effectively. So when I like to think about prep and planning, you do have, hopefully, you have in your schedule, you have a planning period, which I know that there are some teachers who don't, but I really hope you do. But in addition to that, think about the other times of the day where you might have planning time. Before school, after school, what does that look like? It could be as small as like a 15-minute chunk. It could be an hour and a half. When are those times? And then what should you be doing during those time periods? Based on your energy level, based on how much time you have, what could you be doing to maximize your productivity during those prep periods? Also, think about the things that you might be doing that could be delegated during those prep and planning periods, like copies. Do you have a system at your school where someone like a TA could do all the copies for you if you just had them done prior? Think about those ways that you can maximize or utilize your prep period most effectively. And then finally, one of the things that tends to take the most time, besides planning, is grading and giving feedback. What are some things that you can do that can speed those things up? Here are some strategies that I tried that saved a ton of time. First was giving immediate feedback. I would have my iPad out, and as I was roaming around the room, as students were working, I would just go in and I would give them points if I was giving points at that point, and I would mark how they were doing. I also would give immediate feedback so that when they turned in their assignment, I already kind of knew where it was going to be, and they already knew where it was going to be. It saved a ton of time. I did this immediate feedback instead of collecting all of their notebooks at the end of the week. I did do that as well, and it worked sometimes, but what it ended up doing is I had this huge milk crate that I had to take home and go through everything. But instead, what I started to do is when I was looking at engineering notebooks, for example, I would have them all open to the page that I wanted to look at. And then they would just keep their engineering notebook open while they were working. And I would go through and I would grade all of it, or I'd give it marks right then and there. I could give them feedback. I could also identify any issues or misconceptions that they were having. They could fix things right then and there. And they weren't submitting something to me and then I was marking it down and they had to resubmit it. It was done right there because I let them know, hey, look at this part. You didn't quite develop your ideas. Can you develop those a little bit more? Those are some things that can be done quick and on the fly and saved me a ton of time because it was happening during class instead of after class. Now, there are some cool tools that you can use with AI. If you are doing papers, there are ways for students to get their own feedback, which they can do with ChatGPT, where if you are having them write something, they can put that, what they wrote, into ChatGPT and get some feedback. It's not getting feedback directly from you, but it is already giving feedback from the AI tool. Along those same lines is a lot of your LMS or your learning management systems will have built-in tools that will be able to give students feedback. So for example, our district uses Canvas by Instructure, and when you create a quiz, you can have a place where based on what their answer is, you can give them immediate feedback. It takes a little bit of time on the front end, but what it does is based on what they mark, they can automatically get that feedback on why it is correct or incorrect and maybe how they could fix that. So those are some ways that you can give that quick grading feedback during the school day, specifically during your class period, that doesn't require you to take things home. Let's recap. The first, to maximize your productivity, is to have some efficient classroom practices that make it so that you're not spending a ton of time doing things like cleaning up or putting things away. That can always be something that your students can do for you if you have a system put in place. The second is having a plan for your prep periods or any of your planning time. What you will do when, based on your energy, how you feel, what needs to get done on your to-do list for that day. And then finally, trying to figure out ways that whatever you're doing that's taking a ton of time, the example for this episode is we talked about grading. If grading is taking you a ton of time after school, what are some things that you could do during the school day, specifically during that class period, to help give feedback really quickly, to help do your marking so that that happens while class is going on rather than after. If this episode was helpful to you, it could be for others. To help spread the word about this podcast, take a screenshot of this episode, add it to your Instagram stories, and tag me at Kristen Masick, KristenMasick. Until next time.